Hi, everyone. I'm Djemal, Global Business Development Director at VIOOH, and I'm here to kind of speak to Léon about how a major brand has adopted programmatic out-of-home to be a key component of their out-of-home strategy. But before we get started, it's worth reminding you that you can use the QR code during this session to ask questions at any time, and we will get to them at the end of the session. So it's always interesting to find, the perspective of the client, what drives their media strategy, how is programmatic part of that strategy? And in the case of today, how programmatic out of home is part of this strategy. And I'm really excited to be speaking to an expert in this field who has helped a global brand really adopt programmatic out of home strategically to be a key component of their out of home media mix. But it's worth noting that these views are Léon's and they represent more the agency side and not necessarily the brand. So, Léon, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. Could you give us a bit more information about yourself, Mindshare, and your role there, please?
Thanks for having me, Jem. Hi, everyone. So I'm Léon, and I'm very pleased to be here today. I've been in the industry for nearly a decade now, and I have experience across verticals like QSR, auto, tech, and travel. And I'm currently working with Mindshare specifically to turn media into a growth engine for brands from around the world as an associate media director.
Amazing. Thanks, Léon. You previously worked on Qatar Airways account. It would be great if we could get some insights as to what were the key components when it came to kind of adopting programmatic digital out of home.
So our journey with programmatic digital outdoor has been one of flexibility and efficiency, and it really helped us scale where it really mattered across the cities that Qatar Airways flew to and out of. I would say it has helped given us access to inventories from around the world that in tandem allowed us to reach people in Times Square in New York, for example, or even engage with people waiting for their train in London or Melbourne because of the dynamic creatives that we're able to use. Or even beside bistros in renowned cities like Berlin, for instance. And it helped us elevate from going for traditional buys to programmatic-led outcomes.
Fantastic. And what is it that Qatar Airways aims to achieve with its digital out-of-home strategies? Is it brand awareness? Is it sales conversion? What are the key components?
So it's really helped us leverage the objectives of both brand awareness and sales, for example, tactical campaigns that come in left, right, and center. And it helped us bridge the gap from awareness to consideration to conversion. It helped us capture all the audiences that we tend to reach via the unique device IDs and the tech that really comes with it, and helped us remarket them at different levels of the funnel using catered communication. It has also helped shape our creative strategy because of the brand lift studies that we tend to couple with the executions. And it has definitely helped us tap into key marketing moments, especially on sports, where we were able to, for example, congratulate winners on the winning team, right? And it really helped us tap into our sports audiences just in time.
Yeah. And obviously Qatar Airways are major event sponsors of a lot of events, like sporting events around the world. I know that they do the tennis, they did the Champions League, and there was a great execution that you guys did, because I think they also sponsored one of the finalists, didn't they? And kind of used programmatic to kind of activate that just before the final and congratulate the winners, like you said. We tend to see Qatar Airways campaigns run on sort of large impact screens, major international cities, and contextual environments like airports. Can you tell us a bit about the rationale behind this strategy?
Right. So it's important to note that for programmatic digital outdoor, we've had presence across the entire year. So we've been present all year round. And when it comes to branding, we tend to go for high impact formats, the flashy big screens across facades, across different prestigious locations across the world. And then what programmatic digital outdoor also helped us with is being present on smaller to medium formats when it comes to sales campaigns. Think of it as street furniture or train stations, as I mentioned earlier. What it really helped is reaching the right audience at the right time. So it tapped into contextually relevant spaces that would attract luxury mindsets, for instance, because this is what the brand really stood for, especially around sales periods.
Yeah. And again, from a programmatic perspective, it's interesting to see Qatar Airways' journey, initially adopting those big screens, but then also understanding that maybe some of the other formats would be great with reaching those different audiences to deliver in contextual environments that you said. So Adam shared some interesting stats earlier about the findings from the State of the Nation Middle East report. And in there we saw that, 88% of marketers in the Middle East currently plan programmatic digital out of home as part of a wider digital or programmatic activation. Does that ring true to you? And if so, which channels do you usually pair programmatic digital out of home with? And what effect does that have on your overall strategy?
Of course it does, Jem. So we tend to see a significant impact on channels like search, which is our primary driver of sales due to its position in the funnel. It's a consideration platform, but it definitely trickles down to other channels like social and display. We tend to usually couple programmatic digital outdoor with display and video activity primarily, just solely due to the ability of being able to move audiences across the funnel. And we tend to see impact on these two channels as well, just because of the ability to exclude and include where relevant. So it's really helping us make the contextual story tighter, and it helps us close the loop across audiences.
Excellent. And, there was something around sort of mobile in there as well, and using mobile as companion for out of home. That's something that Qatar Airways do as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We design mobile first because it really trickles down onto the rest of the channels. And this is what I would advise everyone else to do in their strategy.
Amazing. And obviously an important channel for the region, as Adam covered as well. So data is central to campaign planning. We know that. And in the Middle East, 58% of audience targeting or respondents commented that 58% as audience targeting as being important for their campaigns. Does audience data factor into your buying decisions when it comes to programmatic digital out of home? And if so, what influence does it have?
So audience data, or generally insights at large, are at the heart of everything we do, Mindshare. It begins with an insight on a brand level that moves into a consumer understanding of things. And then this is where the role of media owners would come in to kind of fuel our selection of strategic locations. Then when combined with high footfall locations, it really helps us identify the right user at the right time, and it helps us bid against the right moment. So when we combine all of these together, we would really have the perfect combo, at large.
So basically building audience personas, as it were, and following that journey is okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes total sense. That's great use of programmatic digital out of home. Okay, very experienced, as we mentioned earlier, helping a global brand sort of transition and adopt programmatic digital out of home. So as someone who's been on that journey, what advice would you give to a brand or an advertiser who's thinking about running their first campaign in programmatic digital out of home?
So I'd ask them not to keep this on hold for longer, because it really makes their life easier from a flexibility standpoint. But at the same time, I would just like to make sure that everybody stops using programmatic digital outdoor as yet another static billboard that you're buying traditionally. Make sure you're leveraging this for its displacement, for its capability in driving dynamic communication, interactive communication. Go for attention, don't go for aesthetics. be motion-led, be context-aware, just be minimal and bold. You should also understand your consumer fully before, going into the game, and understand the inventories that come with it. You often find yourself surprised when you really check what or where consumers would be basis the different inventories that you might have access to. And we tend to categorize consumers as part of the wrong environment. So just make sure that you understand your consumer and always use programmatic outdoor as part of a broader media mix and not as a standalone channel. So make sure it's integrated also, as I mentioned, as a mobile first strategy. That would be quickly what I would advise everyone to do.
Yeah, some sound advice there. Thanks, Léon. We've got a couple more questions, but before I go on to those, just a quick reminder for the audience that if you've got any questions yourselves, please use the Slido QR code to send those, and we'll get to them in a couple of questions' time. So the next question for you, Léon, is what one thing does programmatic digital out-of-home industry need to resolve in order to guarantee its continued success?
Tricky one. So I think everyone would agree that this is going to be related to measurement. I think measurement standardization is getting more important than ever, based on my experience. There's still a lot of inconsistency in how we measure programmatic digital outdoor, and that stems out of different markets. Everybody treats it in a different way. And it's making it harder for advertisers to fully quantify the real impact it's driving. So as measurement evolves, it's becoming more important to link exposure to outcomes and just make sure you're unlocking more investment, unlock more insight to be able to unlock more investment into the channel. I also even naturally attributed programmatic digital outdoor capabilities to last click channels. So this is also another gap that's been happening. It may or may not be entirely true, which is where I also ask brands to make sure that they're leveraging triple M's wherever possible to help prove the results of digital outdoor at large.
Interesting. Yeah. Measurement's always one, but it's interesting again, like you say, how the space is evolving, and typically measurement would be brand awareness for upper funnel and maybe footfall studies, but that's evolving to kind of connect the omni-channel angle of programmatic out of home with offline to online measurement as well. Last question from me, Léon, before we move over to the audience questions. What do you think is in the future for your clients' digital advertising strategies?
So I think the future is about being more connected. It's definitely going to be data-driven. So make sure that you're driving data-driven ecosystems as part of your strategy. I think we'll see deeper integration between channels where digital outdoor, digital and performance media are planned together rather than separately. And there would definitely be a stronger focus on real-time optimization, audience-led planning and buying, especially in high-value travel moments, for instance, for Qatar Airways.
Yeah, excellent. Looks as though it has been a popular session. There's quite a few questions. I don't know if we've got time to go through them. So what I'll do is I'll pick a couple of the more popular ones, the liked ones. The first one is, how do Mindshare encourage and teach their clients to utilize programmatic digital out-of-home for branding?
So there's a lot of case studies that we have access to from many different partners around the world, specifically VIOOH. So we tend to explain where it really fits in the funnel and the importance or the flexibility it really offers. At large. So this is quickly how I would answer it. And there's always a client that's not fully sure about the capability of programmatic digital outdoor. So there's a lot of research that can help you get it on your media plan, and that would be how we would approach it.
Okay, there's a couple that I can combine here, and I can answer these ones. The first one is from B Salam, who's asking if there's digital assets in Dubai that's available programmatic, and then there's another one which asks the most popular digital out-of-home screens in the Middle East? The answer to the first one is yes. There are several digital screens that are available for programmatic in Dubai, UAE, and the wider region as well. And what tends to be more popular tends to be the bigger screen formats. However, we are seeing a shift in clients to what Léon was saying earlier, being more audience-driven, which has given us access to other screens as well. Last question, and then we can wrap up, Léon. Quick one for you. Is there any demand or interest from brands to introduce engagement elements within digital out-of-home, such as AR, gamification, or AR features within the actual ad itself?
This is something that I actually mentioned it as part of what we just discussed. So Qatar Airways launched their AI adventure campaign, start of your own adventure, and we were looking for unlocking screens that would drive this interactivity. I think there's definitely more interest and a growing interest to drive more interactive screens. It's just about how you use your communication, and any placement that has smart creative that attracts attention would definitely drive the engagement that you're looking for. So gamification and all of these things can definitely be integrated into existing inventories. I can give an example of actually London. There's a lot of options in London available. Not sure about the Middle East, to be very honest, but I would assume there's a lot of brands going towards that direction.
Fantastic. Great session, Léon. Thank you so much for your time. I think we'll end the session there. Thank you to the audience for viewing and asking the questions as well. I'm now going to hand over to Zoo, who will take part of the next part of the session. Thank you.